Let's open the computer property1.html. And here we have three form elements: a title selection, name, and email inputs. And below that, we have an alert showing the title and name in uppercase and lowercase. Now here, if we change the title, we cannot see any changes in the alert. But once we update the name, the changes reflected in it. So let's go to our editor and then open computer property1.html. And here we can see its form element is bound to a variable using vModel directive. Then in alert, we have two paragraphs. Each contains title concatenate with name converted to uppercase and lowercase. Although this is only simple logic, but we need to consider that our view or our templates should only be concerned with displaying data to the user. That's why we'll move them into View option. So let's jump to script section. And here we can see that the title is outside the Vue instance. That's why it was not reactive. Now let's add methods property. And inside that, we can define a method. Let's say upper name, then let's move this expression inside the upper name method. Add return in the beginning. The title is outside the Vue instance, so we don't need to make any changes. But here the name is in data property. Inside the Vue option scope, we need to call it by explicitly add this. So this.name. Here in the template, we can now call the method upper name parenthesis. Alright, let's also move this expression. But now we'll place it in computer property. Back to script section. And here in View option, let's add computer property. And in this property, let's define a method. I'm gonna call it lower name. Inside this method, let's add return. Then paste the code. Don't forget to add this before the name. Here in the template, we can now call our method or function that we define in computer property just like this, lower name. We don't need parentheses, and Vue.js will automatically invoke the function. Now, before we run this, let's also add console log in both upper name and lower name. And here let me add computed to distinguish the method call. Let's save. Switch back to our browser. Let's open console. And here let me put it on the right so that I can see the log. Here we can see upper name and computer lower name called on the first load. Now let's select the title. And here we don't see any changes on the alert as well as in the console. the title is not a reactive variable. That's why it will not trigger an update on the view. But now, if we update the name, the title in the computer property instantly change. This because changing the name will trigger an update for the computer property. And here we also see the upper name and computer lower name being called every time I hit the key. Now, what if we update the email? As you can see in the console, only upper name method being called. This because the variable email is reactive and it will trigger the view to be refreshed. Because in the template we call upper name, that's why this method will be called. The computer lower name is not called because, as I said, the value is cached so that the function will not rerun as long as the dependent property is not updated. I hope you got the idea.